Now, of course, I'm no stranger to the brand Terence Hughes. I have a number of them and way more than what you see pictured here. I have them off to the side because they quite literally just do not fit. And you guys see the shelves are bowing a little bit. Don't worry, they've been reinforced. But here we have a fragrance called Unicorn Elixir. I've been meaning to review this one for some time now. It's a 10 ml pure perfume oil, $350. I'm excited to give you my thoughts on this fragrance, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin today's video and I give you my thoughts on Unicorn Elixir by Terence Hughes, I think it's $350, might be pounds, although don't quote me on that, please. I'm going to leave all of the information down below. I do want to start the video off first by saying that if you're a fan of fragrance-related content, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, and please give this video a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm. It would really mean a lot to me. Now, of course, if you're interested in purchasing Terence Hughes products and you live in the States like I do, your best source is maxaroma.com. I'm going to leave their links down below as well to some of my favorite ATH fragrances. And of course, these do include Maverick and Hard Candy Elixir and Supernova, and he's done a lot of really wonderful fragrances throughout the years. Onyx and Onyx, the extreme version. I mean, he's quite talented at what he does. Here we have an oud rose fragrance with patchouli and sandalwood and raspberry and some really interesting ingredients. Ambergris is in here as well. So of course you can expect this one to be on the darker side of things. There's an ingredient called unicorn oud. 5% of it is used in this fragrance, 35% rose absolute, and you can just pick up on the natural organic quality of the raw materials right away. In any case, I'm excited to give you my thoughts on the smell. Let's start things off with a quick look at the presentation first. Now, of course, I didn't spray this one on skin. You have to dab it on skin very lightly, and if you go on the official website, it says try not to rub too vigorously because it does utilize some absolutes and you don't want to bruise the molecules, so to speak. So here is the test strip, and as you can see, it's quite dark and it's been saturated in the oil. This is pure oil. There is no alcohol, which is why you dab it with the metal rod directly to the skin. Not metal, but I think it's crystal or whatever. So here, okay, wow. The first thing you're going to notice about it is the rose. There is a lot of rose in this fragrance, and a lot of oud rose fragrances, the skankiness of the oud is a little bit too overpowering, and you don't really get the rose until maybe 10-20 minutes later. Here you get the rose right away. So the rose is a star player in this fragrance, and of course you also have a touch of that raspberry in there, and I think it immediately calls to mind fragrances like Ombre Nomade by Louis Vuitton, and there's been a lot of sort of oud, rose, raspberry types of fragrances, and of course with that earthiness of patchouli kind of gives it this exotic touch, and it also gives it like this Middle Eastern vibe, which I think is really, really nice, really powerful, and exactly what you would expect when it comes to this style of fragrance. There's a lot of rose, there's a lot of oud, but of course the rose really dominates here. Now, with this particular fragrance, it is more on the linear side of things. And the reason I say that is because even some of these ingredients that you're going to get in the dry down, the sandalwood, the ambergris, the patchouli, I do get them right in the opening, but it seems like the bulk of the non-linearity is just coming from that rose. So once the rose kind of tends to quiet down and settle down a little bit, that's when all of these other ingredients sort of come to the fore, but in tandem. So they're all kind of experienced concurrently. So what I have to say about this is it's an amazing oud rose fragrance, super high quality ingredients. You're going to get more rose than anything else, but you do get a touch of sweetness, a little bit from the raspberry, a little bit from the sandalwood. You do get that earthy texture. It's a bit green at times. It's really, really long lasting. And of course, when you're dealing with an elixir, unicorn elixir, that term can be a little nebulous, right? We have Dior Sauvage elixir. We have so many elixirs on the market. Paco Rabanne and many other brands have hopped onto that bandwagon. So the term itself is a little nebulous and subjective, but here we're dealing with a pure oil, and Of course, this bottle itself is quite heavy, believe it or not, 10 milliliters worth of liquid, and you're going to be in possession of something really, really special here. Nevertheless, if you like oud rose fragrances, you're looking for quality through and through, super concentrated in attar form, definitely check out Unicorn Elixir by Terence Hughes. Let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. So first up, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, well, I certainly made a number of comparisons throughout the course of this video. However, what really makes this fragrance stand out from the others is the high quality raw materials that are being utilized in the blend. And it's all very, very impressive, to say the least. Very meditative, very grounding. Longevity on this fragrance, 12 plus hours. This is attar strength. And of course, depending on how much you apply, you don't need more than just a few drops on pulse points, on the wrist, behind the ears, where all the pulse points are basically. Projection on this was great for like the first 5 hours, but within an arm's length, right? So you're going to get this nice sort of cloud around you, and 12 plus hours is longevity, as I stated before. Versatility on this one, perfectly unisex, I think, especially if you're thinking about the Middle East and that part of the world where this type of a DNA is enjoyed in surplus. Perfectly unisex, great for the colder weather, great for formal scenarios, I would say. And because of the oud rose combination and the fact that it is on the darker side of things, I would recommend it to somebody who's a little bit older. The presentation is really nice, and of course it does come with this key and tassel, very reminiscent of the old school by Killian coffin presentations. But my final verdict on this fragrance is, if you want a high quality oud rose fragrance that utilizes natural ingredients, touch of ambergris, touch of patchouli, touch of sandalwood, a nice hint of raspberry, some hidden spices in there, check out Unicorn Elixir. Thank you so much for watching. That was my review of Unicorn Elixir by Terence Hughes, a brand based out of the UK, and Aaron is a great guy. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, and give this video a thumbs up. And again, I would urge you, if you haven't explored this brand yet, if you have no familiarity with it, you can go ahead and pick up a bunch of samples from Max Aroma, super long lasting, super high quality offerings. I'm going to leave all of the relevant links down below. Thanks again for watching. Love you guys, and we'll see you tomorrow with a new episode. Bye.